Okay, fifth grade. Today we are talking about graphing patterns, and we're going to be looking at pages 531 through 534 in our textbook. And just to go back and think about what we already learned, we talked about coordinate planes and how they're formed when two perpendicular lines intersect, and we said that those perpendicular lines are numbered. The center point where the lines intersect is called the origin, and we do mark that as being point 0, 0, or put an O if we're just using part of the coordinate plane, as we are here, as we look at graphing some particular patterns today. And we're going to look at a word problem in order to do that. We're going to talk about adventure bikes and bikes and more, and look at the cost of renting bikes over a period of hours. As you look at our graph, we know that we'll be looking at coordinates on both our x and y axis, the x being the horizontal and the y being the vertical. So here's our word problem. Trisha and her friends decide to rent bicycles to ride on their weekend trip. Bikes and More charges $5 for each hour, and Adventure Bikes charges $10 for each hour. Find the cost of renting a bicycle for each store for 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. So in order to do that, we have just created a little chart here, and we know that for Bikes and More, 1 hour is $5. So then 2 hours will be $10, 3 hours, $15, and 4 hours will be $20. And we're just taking our 1 hour, $5, and multiplying that 5 by 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to do the same thing for Adventure Bikes, except that's $10 for 1 hour. So 2 hours will be 20, 3 hours, 30, and 4 hours will be $40. Now, we can take these figures and we can plot them in a coordinate plane. And for this, we're going to use x as our representing our hours, and then we're going to represent the cost on the y-axis. So these become our coordinates. So we can look at this and say our coordinates are 1, 5, 2, 10, 3, 15, and 4, 20. And for Adventure Bikes, let's go ahead and change the color here. We're going to say our coordinates are 1, 10, 2, 20, 3, 30, and 4, 40. Okay, so now I have my graph, and I'm ready to start plotting the points on the coordinate plane. One thing that is good for us to know about our graphs is that if I look at my x-axis here, I have it numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, representing the number of hours that we'll be renting the bikes for. It does not have to be the same increments as my y-axis here that I have labeled in dollars in $5 increments, going up 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. So with this, I can begin graphing. My first point is at 1, 5. So again, like we talked about, I go over 1, and then I'm going to go up 5. And I'll put a point in red right there. My next point is at 210, so I'll count 2 across the x-axis, and then I'll go up to 10. My next one is 315, and then 420. And as I begin to graph adventure bikes, I'm going to go to 1 and then start at 110. The next one is at 120, 330, and at 440. Now if I look at those two lines, I can begin to see that there is a difference with adventure bikes starting here and just kind of traveling up that way, and then Bikes and More starting here, and that line doesn't go up as fast. The difference between each point represents a difference in cost. So if I were to look at this graph and ask, what's the difference in price between Bikes and More and adventure bikes? If I ride a bike for 3 hours, then I can look here at my graph and find Bikes and More at 3 hours, and then I know that each increment is $5. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, and I know that this would represent a difference of $15 at 3 hours. So I can use my graph to compare the cost of the two stores. So now it's your turn, and you're going to be practicing on Independent Practice, pages 533 and 534. Good luck.